Lunch Money Lambert, Jeff Malott. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Yeah. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Hey. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation, where we talk about fishing and competition. It's your boy Ox Pippin, aka Ox Fishing. Don't come over here tripping. Hey, hope you enjoy the show. Jeff Malott, Lunch Money Lambert, Lego. Hey, welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Hey, welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to KBN Live. Yes, you're just seeing my face on here. Ryan is having technical difficulties, but we will have him back in here in just a second. I know he can do it. I know he's going to pull it off. So just stand by while we get him in here. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Ryan and I are fresh back from Lake Guntersville, where we struggled mightily, the both of us. We have some funny stories about that, though, because we were in relatively close proximity to the top finishers, which Barry Davis and Eric Siddiqi made a big comeback. Barry made a monster comeback, almost got all the way to the top. Both of them made a big comeback to take the first and second spot, Bassmaster Gunnersville. So we can't wait to talk to them about that. But first up, we're going to have Travis Randall in here from Eco Fishing. We've got a huge announcement about the Big Bass 250, pun intended. We're going to talk about the date and what's going on with the Big Bass 250. And while we're waiting on Ryan, I don't want to beat around the bush. We'll just get Travis in here and talk about that right now. Travis, what's up, man? Ryan's sorting out his technical problems while we're waiting on him. We will just get straight into the 250. As everyone knows, Eco Fishing Shop, the presenting sponsor of the podcast. We appreciate y'all so much. Appreciate everything y'all do in the community and how you support the tournament side of kayak fishing and just kayak fishing in general. We appreciate you. So appreciate you taking the time tonight, man.
Yeah, we're proud to be part of it, both the podcast and all the local and regional trails, as well as, starting to get involved with some more national stuff and actually trying to put, we really try to back the angler as much as we can. And so we've got guys all over the country in tournaments. And I do want to say congratulations to Barry and Eric at Gunnersville. Excellent job there. And man, we just try to, try to be part of the sport. Yeah,
you sure enough are, and you've made your name fast. There's Ryan. He's back. What's up, Ryan?
How buddy? It's Monday.
Yeah, it's Monday. He's in there. So I went ahead and just brought Travis in. We're going to get right into the 250 announcement. We haven't announced it yet, but I was just telling him we appreciate all Eco does for us and for the sport in general, man. They've been making waves this year.
Yep, you're seeing it, all over the place too, guys, in Eco hats and jerseys and stuff. I noticed down at the Gunnersville tournament.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're looking for. And then, there's little things that we do that are different, like with the Sasquatch bar that we had developed for the Old Towns and new canoes and Hobies. And you're starting to see that on the Old Towns website, and just little things where we're trying just to, find little issues in the industry and solve those little problems and come up with, just outside the box thinking, and from supporting anglers and supporting your podcast. And like I said, we just want to be part of the industry and be a resource to the anglers. And we figure if we do a good job doing that, the sales and things that we need will come.
Yep.
Yes, sir. So big thing we've been waiting on, man, the 250, great event.
Yep, yeah. Is a big part of that. I mean, that's a big part. We do the 250 is not a moneymaker for sure. It's something we put together just to have fun, celebrate the anglers, and we wanted to officially announce on the podcast that the Big Bass 250 date will be October 26th this year. It will be at the on Lake of the Ozarks again, and that's probably where it'll stay. We will be doing at the Exchange, the same venue we did last year. Going to do some tweaks on that, but man, we're excited. Last year it was pretty exciting to see somebody, Chris Longshore out of Nebraska, come up and win it. You know, we'd like to make that a little bit of a traveling trophy. You know, kind of daring some of them Arkansas boys to come up there and put a line in the water.
Hey, they made it happen on Truman this year with the All-American. So we'll see about the 250 this year.
For sure, we'd love to have, you know, any and all comers. It's a lot of fun because we get a lot of guys out of Texas and Illinois and just really kind of all over. I mean, we've had Alabama, we've had Connecticut, Utah. We get guys that come quite a ways for it. Again, this year, $10,000, one fish. Big bass is 10 grand. We haven't, you know, we don't have anything to announce at this time on giveaways, but I can tell you, we always that's what I love doing is going out and just making that as epic as possible. First year, I think we had 4 kayaks as part of it. Last year, I think we had 7. And not to mention, we always have motors. We always have fish finders. We always have, you know, power poles and tons of stuff from Yak Attack to, you know, motor guides, and really just we try to load it up as much as we can and try to send home everybody with something.
Yeah. I remember last year I was standing in the back of the room and the guy next to me, my buddy, Brian Hillman, won a Newport, and the guy right over in the next table to me won a kayak, and I'm standing there like, come on, Travis, give me back here, man.
Oh yeah. We keep her fair. And then, I heard rumor last year you guys were considering doing an after party, so that would be fun.
Yeah,
we're gonna put something together. I think Steve-O's gonna load up and ride out with me for this deal too. So we'll try to make it as entertaining as possible.
Excellent. And we'll be looking at a couple of things we're going to do different this year. Really, just one is, you know, with it being it's $250 entry fee, we're going to let you split that up this year. So if you want to call or go onto our website, ecofishingshop.com, you can go get on there and search Big Bass 250. That's how you're going to sign up, and then you'll get an email with a code. So you can go to Tourney X, and then you won't pay anything at Tourney X. We take care of all that. We just give you a code so you can just go get on and register there. But we're going to set it up where you can pay, I think it's a $100 deposit, and then pay the rest of it like a week out. But we know that, you know, it's a ways out there, and it's not a $50, $60 tournament, you know. But again, this year there will be all the foods part of it, you know, and it'll, you know, we always have a bar there, and just the social aspect of this is really what we're after. The tournament is a lot of fun, and it's a great time. But man, the camaraderie about after a tournament, going there and just spending time with like-minded people. And we've always got some. Last year, I think our youngest guy was 13, which was awesome to see. Mr. B, which is a guy who comes into my shop all the time. He doesn't fish the tournament. He's an avid kayaker, older gentleman. He's putting together a deal just for the youngest angler again this year, which was kind of cool because that kid was with Chris Longshore last year. So we did hit him up right, got him some cool stuff. And then he got to go in with Chris Longshore that was taking home 2 great big checks. So that was probably a good trip.
Yeah, sounds like it.
So that's about it, boys. Like I said, it's going to be a lot of fun, you know, as you sign up and just keep watching. We're going to blow it up on social media and just try to get it, you know, try to grow this thing as fast as we can. Last year we had 125, and we're hoping to, you know, just beat that this year and just keep continuing to grow it. And eventually what we'd like to do is have you know, the first day where guys can come in and pre-fish, and then have all the vendors there, have all the kayak companies and that. But you got to build it, and that's what we're in the middle of, and that's what we appreciate from you guys and from the people who attend year in and year out and make the event what it is.
Yep. So you got the date, folks. Put it in your calendar. Try to make this one if you can. We're gonna put some special stuff together and you know, make it a pretty interactive experience there in the after hours portion.
It'll be a good time.
Man. Yeah, man. I'm going to bring a couple of white monsters, Ryan. I'll stay up all night with you.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. We're in there. All right, Travis. We appreciate you, man. Appreciate all you do. We'll let you slide out of here and get Barry. Unless you want to stick around, we're going to get Barry in here and talk about his.
We're good. Those guys deserve your full attention. I'm going to let you have it.
All right, man.
Sounds good. Appreciate it.
See you guys.
Travis Randall, everybody. Make the 250. We're waiting on Eric, but we'll get Barry in now. Barry Davis, what's up, man?
Just another day to make $1.
Yeah, you made some dollars this weekend, my friend.
And went right back to work today.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. Man. I had to go back to work last night. Drove straight home for a dinner meeting after taking that whipping out there.
Yeah, at least my ride home felt good. So
yeah, I saw you had that check seat belted in.
I had the check and the trophy seat belted in. I didn't want to fly off anywhere.
So you fished Gunnersville quite a bit. You've been down for several tournaments down there. Is this something? I mean, did you kind of have a expectation going into it? You know, of what an area was going to do, or what were you thinking going into practice?
I've never fished the area I was in. Never. I don't even fish that side of the lake 90% of the time because I usually stay at the state park on the other side. Yeah. And this is the first time I've been down there in May. I've always been there before, either hot weather or fall. And I fished the creeks because the cold water. It's all spring fed on that backside or the upper side of the lake. I call that the backside because it's the other side of Scottsboro. But I always fish the creeks over there, and I've done okay. I've had, with 200, 300, even 400 people down there for one of the championships that who had. Yeah, that's all we'll say right now. But I finished the 30s and the 40s, and I've bloated a few times fishing the creeks. But I've never went to the other side. And everybody keeps saying, man, you need to go over and fish this, that. You'd love to fish the grass. You could run a buzz bait. You could do this stuff. Because everybody knows me now as a finesse fisherman. But before I tore my shoulder up, crankbaits, buzz baits, spinner baits, I throwed the piss out of them. I mean, that was what I used to do all the time. So a lot of people said, man, you got your shoulder fixed. Get back throwing some of that stuff. You get over there and throw that grass, you'll love it. I wore myself out Saturday throwing grass. So.
It paid off pretty good, it looks like.
Yeah. I slung that egg beater as far as I could sling it and just kept on drawing it across there. And when I could stand up, I'd stand up. And that's one of the wickedest things to looking at hydrilla and see a white streak run after that thing from about 5-6 foot away. It's unreal. And trying to keep yourself from yanking it. You just feel them before you yank it. Phil, I kept saying to myself, it's like I said it 50 times, even though it didn't take a millisecond before they hit it. So.
How far into practice did you kind of find the pattern that you ended up running for the tournament?
We actually found fish in that area on Tuesday, which was first. Terry Elkins and myself, we practice together a lot anyway. We're pretty tight. We camp together a lot of times. He stayed at the house.
I see y'all together on the water at every single tournament that I think I fished this year. I can't look around the corner without seeing you and Terry in that cowboy hat coming out there.
Yeah. Matter of fact, he's aggravating me. I've always wore a round straw hat, and I tore my hat up. So I've been wearing a ball cap and a hoodie lately, and he says, man, you got to get that hat back so I can find you. I can't find you on the water like I usually can. Because we'll go out together and we'll practice pretty close to each other. But a lot of times we split up and go separate areas. We find the area that works. And there's been a few times we don't even fish the same ramp, but it's few. Because we just go off each other's notes a lot because we camp together. It got to where we done that, and it just worked for us. So, and he's a good guy to be around, man. I enjoy it. I enjoy Terry Time. Terry Time's good, man. He's a cool guy. So, cowboy hat and all. Even though he's lost all that weight, I tell him he looks like a thumbtack now.
Oh, man.
But we found fish on Tuesday, and we pretty well said we'll probably go back in there on Tuesday or on tournament day and stay away from it the rest of the week, and let's go try some other things. So we went and tried some other things, see if anything would beat it. Nothing beat it. Weather changed every day. We had one great sunny day. Well, that's the day we put in on that municipal ramp that is upriver from that, the next ramp upriver, same side. And we came down and crisscrossed over some of the water we'd fished out of where we fished at, and found some good fish that day. But we knew we could get to it from the bottom ramp also, just a 4-mile run from the bottom ramp. So we made a plan, said, hey, we're going to do this. We're going to make it work. And then we was we went back to, I can't even think the name of the ramp we was at. What was the ramp we was at, Jeff?
Goose Pond, man.
Yeah, Goose Pond. So I told you I ain't never fished it before. I forget the name of it. But I can, Terry aggravates me all the time about I don't put waypoints on my thing. He'll say, "How do you remember where you fish all the time?" I said, "Dude, I remember trees, rocks. I can't remember the name of the ramp, but I can remember the tree that I threw at, the rock that was there last time. I'll get a try." I'm an old rescue diver and firefighter, so water, I'm used to getting triangulated. I look at something when a fish hits, I'm looking up for trees, rocks, whatever, to do a triangulation of where I was at. And that locks in here. So I don't hardly ever, I think I got 11 waypoints on my Garmin's that I just put on. Which
Well,
are new this year.
I've got 11 waypoints on that ledge, me and Siddiqi.
So, you know, I don't throw waypoints. I keep them in my head, but he aggravates me, but I can't remember crap as far as the ramp name, stuff like that. But, we put back in there for a little bit Friday evening just to go see if the fish were still doing what we thought. And we found something else, which is where we ended up Sunday. We found fish late in the day, which it was late in the day. It was, you know, getting close to time to come off the water. And I said, uh-oh, we done found something here now. And I looked at what was going on the live scope. I looked at what was going on with the patterns and the topographical on my mapping and found a channel. And they were running that channel back and forth and doing some things. I said, this might be a hot spot. Well, then a boat come in on us, then another boat. I said, this is a community hot spot. Everybody knows about it. So this is something we need to check. So the plan was to go out there Saturday morning and hit it. Now, I fished it for 30 minutes, didn't get a bite. And I told him, I said, dude, I can't do this. I got to, I know there's fish in the grass. I'm going to throw this dang egg beater across the grass and just keep doing. So I went and done that. And that's why I left it. And then I come back to it that afternoon and caught a 19.5. And there's 18, I think it was. And then I lost a freaking monster as I went to get it in the net. The jig popped out. It was hooked in the white of its mouth. She opened her mouth and come up tail walking and just spit it back at me. And I've got a messed up arm. I've been having to wear a brace on it because of my elbow. And then I got my hands cramp up and all because of carpal tunnel. I was trying my best to push the net under, and I didn't have enough feeling in my hand to even do it. And I hit her with the net trying to get her, but she didn't get the net. And I was like, dude, this fish, I bet every time I've went to Gunnersville, I've caught at least a 23 and at least a 23. And I didn't catch anything over a 20 this time. That was my 23 or better. And that would have called a 15 3/4. So
woo, man. Was that on Saturday?
That was on Saturday. That was my weekday, the 90 1/4 day. So you knock that 15 3/4 off there and put a 23 on there. The next fish I caught, the next cast was 19.5, and she made it look like a dwarf when I put that one in the net. I threw it on that board and looked, and I said 19.5. That other fish was a god almighty fish. So,
that's wild. I think I saw as I was y'all don't want to hear about my tournament because it was terrible, but I started off stayed back in the I don't know what you call that, but the backwater area behind where the marina is and all that stuff.
Back bay area. Yeah.
Through a buzz toad and for no reason most of the day. And then I ran out to the main lake. When I was coming back from the main lake, I think I saw you and Terry sitting on that channel bend right there.
Yeah.
I wish I'd have witnessed the big, well, I don't wish it would have come off, but I wish I'd have witnessed y'all catching it.
You know, I say a lot of thank you, Jesus, and praise the Lord, but I said a few bad words on that one anyway. G-Man says it best. So Gerald, he'll say, you know, I love Jesus, but I like to cuss too. You know, sometimes I let them things fly when something like that happens.
They'll bring it out of you every now and then.
Yeah.
So how, you know, obviously that's kind of your Saturday there, losing that big one, leaving, you know, 8 inches or so on the board. What adjustments did you make Sunday going into Money Day? I
went out and we hit that spot first thing, and I told Terry, I said, we're gonna have to think about maybe staying at this. And he's the offshore guy. He's Kentucky Lake guy. He loves fishing ledges and doing that stuff. So, and I hate that. I can't stand staying in one place. Man, I was so fidgety Sunday being out there. I couldn't stand it. I wanted to leave it so many times, and I kept saying, dummy, you got to stay. You can't leave fish to go find fish. So we went out there, and I told him, I said, all right, we catch something, we staying. Well, 13 3/4 saved my day because I caught a 13 3/4 in the first few minutes. And when I caught that, I said, okay, I know there's fish here, even though it's a runt. We'll see what goes on. And Terry was about 150, maybe 200 yards from me. He yanked a 21 something out. And I said, okay, we're here for the day. We're staying. And then it just went constant for the next hour, hour and a half. I was yanking fish out. And I didn't put everything on the board. Steve was talking about how many fish was caught and how many got put on the board. I probably didn't put 7 or 8 fish on the board because they weren't upgrades at the time, or I was standing by waiting and then ended up and caught a upgrade right after it, so it never went on. But yeah, it was the spot I was in, and I never moved out of that part of it. I never moved 30 yards. And I got 2 buoys together because Saturday I hated when I was around there. The wind was blowing us and I couldn't stay where I wanted to. And I wanted my live scope up, which meant I had to move my map to my other Garmin and use half the screen. And I hated trying to watch for my 2 waypoints I'd put. That's 2 of my 11 waypoints. But number 10 and number 11 are out there in that bay. But I put them 2 waypoints and I kept trying to stay on it. Well, it just kept looking like a spaghetti noodle plate. So I kept losing my waypoints and I'd have to zoom in to find them again. So I told him that night, I said, dude, we got to get something to put out there. So he had a buoy and then Clint Pippin had a buoy. So we threw 2 buoys right off the get-go. And when I went to my waypoints and dropped them, I said, all right, now we got something. We don't have to worry about a map. We can fish. So that helped a lot. And then I stayed in that same area around them 2 buoys because they weren't 30 yards apart, like I said. And I sat there and wore everything I caught was out of those in between them 2 buoys.
Yeah, I'm looking at your timestamps on your fish on Sunday. I mean, it's 6:19, 6:56, 6:24. I mean, the action was fast early.
Oh yeah, they come in there hard and if I hadn't, I take a lot of pictures to make sure I get a good picture, which paid off because one of the pictures I sent in on my Bubba Gump fish, as Steve called it, he said he could see crack in the mouth, and I said, well, it's got a fricked up jaw. That fish's right side jaw. I actually sent him the picture of the whole fish because I took a picture of the jaw too, just in case it was questioned. But I did have one of my shots that the mouth was closed all the way. He said, text me everything you got. So I sent him all of them. And he said, you're good. Don't worry about it. So somebody evidently had seen it and questioned it because he'd already accepted it and approved it. And then it was that come out. So part of it, we police ourselves. There's always, the guys sitting at home love to police us. So if they can see a fish on there, they love to jump all over that. So
and you're out there bouncing up and down in the middle of the lake, and you think you can't tell the difference between one picture and another half the time when you're submitting it anyway.
Well, you get one that's got that big bottom lip. It's hard to get. Their mouth don't close always. I've seen several guys get penalized because of that, because the mouth will not close no matter what they do. You can't pinch the mouth shut. I've had one like that before, and I done what I could. The mouth looked closed to me. I took my shots. Luckily, I reset the fish 3 different times and took shots trying to get that extra 1/4 inch out of it like I always do. And I let the fish relax a little bit and put it back on, that kind of stuff. And I had a good shot that, counted, and I didn't get a penalty on that one. So,
yeah, that's an old argument I used to have with people. I would say the hinge of the jaw is what matters.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a gap there and there's nothing you can do about it. But if the hinge of the jaw is closed, you're good.
When the mouth is closed, except for the very tip,
the
fish don't close its mouth no more. I mean, there's people that way too. It just everybody's not made the same way.
Oh man, what do you think it was? You said you were fishing, a channel swing or something there. What do you think it was that had that, concentration of fish in that 30-yard stretch?
It dropped from 6 to 8 foot deep down to 12, 13, and 14 right in that little pool. And the 6 to 8 feet was hydrilla up within about a foot of the surface. The live scope on the edge of the surface of that, and anything that you had sporadic sprigs just in different places of hydrilla, looked like little trees, but it's hydrilla. There's bait fish all in there. My live scope stayed lit up all day long with the little schools of bait fish, not really schools, just 8 or 10 here, 8 or 10 there. And a lot of them were brim because I throwed a crawl with I throwed a jig with a crawl on it. And that crawl's pinchers are not real hard to pull off. and I had to change crawls several times because I kept losing pinchers on little hits. I said, that's a brim. It's not a regular bait fish. So we had brim in there too. And I'd already knew from the day before, that was one of my key things, was hitting anywhere I knew I had shell beds. I'd throw all the way to the bank and run it back out across that 6 and 7 foot area. And that's how I was catching those fish. Some of them would hit right on the bank. I caught a 19.5 off the bank. I mean, the buzz almost hit the freaking dirt and it got it. So it was in there feeding on brim on a shell bed. Mm-hmm. So that they were, brim was key to me, what I found. And they was bait fish all in there. I had a good lesson yesterday on live
story on that, focusing on brim or even mats like out toward the main lake where they could hear the popping and stuff under them. Yeah. I think that was a big factor in the success of most of this tournament anyway. Yeah.
Well, when I put out that upper ramp on the sunny day, which would have been, was that Wednesday or Thursday? We had all the sun. Thursday, I think it was.
I think it was.
One day we had all the sun. Yeah. But I went above that ramp back up towards the bridge and got in 2-3 foot of water just skirting up through there and started finding shell beds that had anywhere from 12, 13 to 18, 20 inch fish just swimming everywhere and brim all over the place. And I never picked up a rod and done anything with it. I just scooted on up through there and tried to stand what I could so I could get a good sight on it. And that was really another plan to go up there maybe and do that. And I don't know if anybody ever went and hit that spot or not because it was kind of a desolate area, but it was really packed with fish. But I'd done found something I wanted to stay with that I thought was going to pay off. And, well, it paid off. It could have paid off a little bit more, but it paid off.
Well, I'll tell you from being out there fishing with Eric, he did everything he could to help you with that. He dumped a couple big fish in the tournament there. So
it happened, man.
That's tournament fishing. It's always them big ones that do you dirty.
I don't know what it is about Gunnersville. Well, Tennessee River in general, but Gunnersville, it seems like there's more big fish lost by people. And I don't mean the average liar that tells you they lost big fish all the time. The guys that you can trust that say that stuff, and a lot of them have it on film. I don't carry cameras with me, but mine would have been right directly in front of me. All 3 of them that I lost that were 20 plus would have been right there. So any of them 3 would have helped me a bunch. But it's just that lake, for some reason, the fish do weird things. I mean, largemouth at most lakes don't just tail walk 3 and 4 times with you holding rod tip at the water and still come up and tail walk with you 3 and 4 times. So, but they do that.
We were catching those fish out deep and they were coming up 40, 50 yards out, just straight in the air. And I'm like, well, that's
that was the bad thing about the rod and reel setup that I was throwing my buzz bait on. I could throw the thing, 150 feet or better. And a twin blade buzz bait going that far, that's a pretty good ride for something that's got 2 blades up there catching wind. And that was my issue. I'd catch fish and they'd be way out there in front of me, and I'm trying to keep the rod tip down. I'd be all hung up in hydrilla doing stuff, and then get them. They'd come in, they'd have a salad in their mouth. I'd have to clean the salad out. So it's rough, but it was fun too. That's a fun way to fish.
And is that what you rode with for 2 days? Was just the buzz bait bite?
Buzz bait and a jig.
Goodness gracious.
When I was in that deeper water, it was all on a jig.
Somebody put in the comments on YouTube, J-Mac. So live scope with a swim jig. Was it a swim jig, or are you pitching a regular jig around those edges?
It's football jig. There it is right
jig.
there.
Throw that thing back up in their screen.
I don't mind showing it. I got to find my camera again.
Yes,
that's
sir.
That's a 5 bass tackle made here in South Carolina. And it's got a 5 bass tackle crawl on the back of it.
Look at that.
But that's what I was throwing right there. I had 2 different ones, different weights, set up with different color crawls. And this is the color crawl that got hit the most, so I switched them both over. The other one's a pinpoint. It's got more of a swim head on it, but I didn't catch them swimming. I had 2 fish chase it back to the boat and hit it right at the boat, but I missed both of them. So I knew they would hit something swimming, but I threw a jackhammer. I throwed a underspin. I didn't throw a crankbait because I left my crankbait rods in the truck on purpose, so I would not try to throw a square bill. I know me, I'll get out there in an open spot and I'd try to throw a square bill around that stuff and end up getting a mess. So I said, I'm leaving them on purpose. But something I told Terry yesterday, we had all them fish in there that's chasing gizzard shad and stuff, and they was all over the water popping. I said, dude, if we had an A-rig in here right now, it'd be unreal. Because I don't know what would have happened with an A-rig, because it was open enough to throw one in some of those places. And the way they were chasing the shad, it might have been something really, 220s at one time. That would have been fun.
Yeah. John Ladd on Facebook, man. He wants to know what.
Pretty good.
Yeah, he wants to know what buzzbait you were throwing. We got that too.
I just happen to have it.
Hey.
True South Lures out of North Carolina. John Martin makes these. And that's the one. This one is going to get retired because it's busted right here. The lead is coming apart on it. One of the balls, you can see it's got one, I don't know if you can see it good, but one of the balls that keeps it from going over the fold is gone right here. It wore the ball completely out on it. I threw it so much.
Wore the balls out on Gunnersville.
Yeah, that's a good day when you wear the balls out on.
Yeah. Leave it to you, man.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but I got to do a True South order because I wrecked this one and I got one that's got the white blades on it. I threw it some on the cloudy days and the sunny day just to see if it got hit. It didn't get hit as hard as this one. But
so how'd you keep that thing running through the eelgrass? Because I threw a buzzbait a little bit and I just kept getting pissed off because it kept getting caught up in the eelgrass and everything else. And I switched to a buzz toad, which apparently is just like a ping pong ball for bass. They won't eat it. They'll just hit it with their nose.
I didn't have any luck on a toad. You're talking about a toad. And I love to throw a frog, but I didn't have any luck on it. I would just put up with it getting hung up. If I didn't have a 6 foot space that was open for it to come across, I'd throw it on that 6 foot space and knowing I was going to have to clean it off when it got back. The biggest problem was getting stuff hung up right in front of your propeller, and it would wrap so tight and it would usually be hydrilla, not the eelgrass, but it would wrap so tight that you'd have to get your snips out and start snipping it to even get it loose where you get the propeller back turning. I threw the Booyah single blade for a little bit too, and it done the same thing, bigger blade profile, but it wound up worse than the twin did because this twin's light. Even though it's got the two blades, it's really light. So it's easy to get right back up on the surface as soon as you throw it. But the eelgrass, it was hit or miss. The wind would blow it. The water current would move it. You just had to find you a spot that you could rip it across there that you had hydrilla just under the surface, and it worked.
Yeah.
So
that eelgrass was a mess, and you know, for those that didn't fish the tournament, they had the grass cutters out there cutting grass all over the lake. So there was just, just huge floating wads of eelgrass coming down the river all day long. It was over 500 bass boats the weekend before us on 2 tournaments. We went to the Jig Shack, and he was telling us about how many boats was there the week before, and he fished it. And he was talking about, he said, man, most of them were out of state. They didn't really know where they needed to be going. He said, there wasn't nothing but a bunch of lawnmowers running across the place. That didn't help us either because they cut a lot of it up too.
I can tell you this. I'm not very experienced at all on Gunnersville, and I didn't pay attention to where I was going and got stuck in hundreds of yards of 3 foot deep grass and would move about 5 feet, clean my prop and move another 5 feet. So, yeah. It is quite a place, man.
Gunnersville is a torpedo with a rock guard type place. It's the guys that's got front motors and stuff. Most of them struggled.
Buddy, I'll tell you, I got out there and I fished day one with the autopilot motor, and I was so freaking mad because it just catches every piece of eelgrass that comes through, and that motor will get bound up. I switched it out and put my Newport on the back for the second day, just for the sanity aspect of being able to get through the grass.
Right. Well, Terry switched this year to a torpedo, and he said, man, I'm missing my spot lock when we was in that one spot. I said, have you missed it all week? He said, oh no, the torpedo's way better for what we're doing here. But he missed it in that one spot. And yeah, it'd be nice to have spot lock on something that would do that. But
yeah,
if torpedo,
it's a trade-off.
Hint, torpedo could do a spot lock.
Yeah. Diggs, he said, it sounds like you needed to pull your. What I did, I just got so frustrated, I just started paddling. That's what I did. I just put everything up, and started paddling. So that's what I did, Diggs. Anyway, it actually worked out. Okay. Yeah, tough stuff over there. I don't know, Ryan. I need some lessons on those Tennessee. Only decent tournament I've ever had on the Tennessee River is that Chick. That was it.
Buddy, I
Yeah,
need
you
to
wore
the Tennessee River.
You wore me out that day. We put it in the same route.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, Barry. Dang right. Yeah. But yeah,
I'm probably not the one to follow around on that one. I don't seem to have any any tournament mojo left on my own freaking home lakes. I don't know. It's a recurring theme I'm picking up on here.
I think I'm gonna go fish the Hobie at Chick. And
I'm gonna fish it too, but dang, I ain't looking forward to it.
Well, if they do it,
tough time out there.
If they do it Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, I can do good. Because I can go up there midweek and I can catch fish. When they start shutting generators down for the weekend, I can't catch fish on that place, man.
Well, I kind of planned for that, and I had found some, upper river current dependent fish, and I checked them all week long, and they were there all week long, and they were generating plenty of current this weekend, and I could not get them suckers to eat for nothing Saturday morning. I got so daggone mad. And I go down there, and me and Siddiqui had found this spot. We talked about it Friday evening past each other, and I looked at the leaderboard, and I didn't see he had anything on there. And I thought, well, maybe he didn't go out there because, it was a freaking pile of fish. So I get all the way down there, and I look up, and there he sits out there. And I was like, be dang. I said, have you not caught any fish? He's like, oh, no, I got 92 inches. I said, well, hell, I wouldn't even come down here then if I had known you already had 92 inches on it. Love it.
First time I ever went to Chick, I fished for the ferry. I don't remember the name of the ramp, but you got that long peninsula comes out. But I went in there on a Friday, like at noon. That's what it took me that long to get there, and fished for 2 hours and had 8 fish. I said, okay, I found something. I went out there Saturday morning. I struggled to catch 3. And I think between the 3 fish, I may have had 38 inches between the 3 fish, something like that. They wasn't nothing to brag about. So.
Yeah. Barry, let me ask you about this, man. I'm looking at the leaderboard over here. Day 1, 87 anglers had 80 inches or better.
Yeah.
That's an insane number.
Yeah.
You had a solid, I believe it was 90 inches or right around 90 inches.
90 and a quarter.
90 and a quarter. You're within range of, even though I think you were in 19th, 18th after day
19th
1.
19th before I was setting up day 1.
But you were well within range of the leaders. What kind of mindset do you have to have dealing with a shootout like this, where there's this many people catching this many fish going into day 2? What's your mindset like?
I went back to the house and I retied a few things, and a couple of them said, well, you're sitting in a check spot. There's about 6 of us at the house. So you're sitting in a check spot. How's that make you feel? I said, it's just another day, man. I've been doing this long enough. I try not to let that bother me. I'm going to do my normal routine. Now, when somebody texts me and said, hey, dude, you're in first place on Sunday, my gut flipped 8 ways from hell. And it stayed that way the rest of the day. So, stuff don't usually get to me unless it's something like that. That's like when I won at Wisconsin, man. I went in the lead in the first 30 minutes and stayed in the lead all day long, and my gut went, it was terrible all day long. I'd rather do what Siddiqui done, try to catch up, and if you knew you could get it in that last 10, 15 minutes like he did.
Yep.
But the nerves is different on that. So you go out there knowing you got to catch up to somebody. It's like, got to do it, got to do it, got to do it. It's a whole different mindset when you can't play defense sitting on your hole and they're on another hole, but that's what you want them to do. So it just tears your nerves up doing that. But as far as from day 1 to day 2, I just done my normal routine. I went to bed 9:30 because I got up at 3:00.
Yeah.
So I told all of them, I said, I'm going to bed. Y'all can keep the lights on if you want to. Come in now, because there's a bunk room that several of us was in. I said, hey, you're not going to bother me. So I went back there and went to bed. So 3:00 hit the next morning. I got up. I said, all right, let's go fishing. So that's just the way I am on that usually. But yesterday I was tore up. I ain't going to lie about that.
With that Eastern time change, man, that was a early lines in, wasn't it?
Man, that part of Alabama shouldn't even be in the Central Time Zone. That's ridiculous that, have to start something at 5:15 because daylight's already on you.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it either until that Friday night. I looked at launch time and I was like, 4:45. What in the world are we doing out here? Come on. And sure enough, I myself, I went to bed early Friday night, went home, went to bed early Friday night, and got up and got out there. And the sun was sure enough coming up about 5:15. I was like, well, we weren't, at least we weren't sitting out there in the dark for an hour.
It was really cloudy that start too on Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm.
And it still had some light. Now Sunday we had even more light because the clouds were a little thinner.
Yeah.
So it was somebody whoever drawed that timeline years ago, they messed up on that part of the state. They should have went.
I live on it. I live right on the line, Central and Eastern.
That'd be aggravating as the devil to me.
It's been that way my whole life. I live in Central and work in Eastern. I'm either an hour early or an hour late for everything I try to do.
Steve, he's watching. He said he got one right finally.
You did, Steve. I'm proud of you. I might have dog cussed you under my breath a little bit there, but you had it right. I'm glad I didn't text you.
I tell you what, Barry, one of my favorite things about that ramp was I sat there and ate breakfast Saturday morning while y'all were paddling out.
Yeah. I had a hamburger when I come back.
Jeff sends me a picture of a biscuit laying on the table, and I ain't really getting in a hurry.
I had a Jimmy Dean sausage, egg, and cheese that I'd done at the house, carried out on the boat with me. That was my breakfast that morning because I was going to get out there and get going.
Yeah, I beat all those bass boaters in there and ordered a bunch of sausage and eggs and just sat there and watched the sun come up for a minute. Then went untied and started right there. You know what's funny about that? I started right there at the takeoff where all those boats were.
Yeah.
Turned the corner with that buzz tote and caught a 20 1/4 within 15 minutes and thought, all right, here we go. And the rest of the day was downhill from there.
Yeah. Well, there's no telling how many thousands of fish get released in that spot every few weeks when you get to counting it. All those ramps, it's busy like that. Waterfront, that's another one they have a lot go out of. Hey,
Jackson County Park, that's where nearly all the local bass boat clubs go out of.
Right.
There's some good retread spots on Gunnersville if you know what you're looking at.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of those fish stay there, make a new home out of it. So, it's always good places to fish. Toledo Bend, I've done really well at Toledo Bend one time fishing the main ramp. And that was my plan because I knew nothing about Toledo Bend. I said, I'm going to try to catch everybody's fish they released last week. And it worked. So.
Yeah, right. Well, you got another blue trophy on the shelf for you, Barry.
Yeah.
Where's this going to put you for AOI? I know you're going to probably chase it the rest of the year.
My first two tournaments wasn't that great. So I hope the last two is going to be like this one or something similar, and maybe I can make a run for it off that. I think I finished like 30th or 31st at Susky, 31st at Susky last year, something like that. And I was really close. I lost fish or two. That's another one you can lose fish on because they're smallmouth. That place is crazy. But I fished the same area that Derek Brundle fished. We seen each other several times, and he got on some good fish and cashed a check, and I didn't cash a check. There was a few places, out of it. So that's a place I love. It's fun. Caddo's another place I love. I went to Caddo and done really well at one of the championships down there 4 years ago, whenever it was. Done really well on day one, and day two was okay. And then don't take this the wrong way, but this is what a lot of us called them. The Mexican Armada moved in on me. When that group from Mexico come in, and the whole crew moved in on me and fished my tackles. One of them found me. Well, and they bombed me on that third day.
We'll keep an eye out for that. I didn't have that on my list of threats, but
hey man, when you're in there throwing it, you got 1,000 trees to throw at, and you get cut down to you only got about 100 trees you can throw at because the other 900 has been thrown up by somebody else. That's because I had 1,000 trees or better to myself, and it was just like a slaughterhouse in there the first 2 days.
That's wild. Team fishing at its finest right there.
Yeah. So I love Caddo. My ramp was closed last time I was there, so I had to come across the big water to get to it. But
I haven't fished it in the fall, but I'm looking forward to seeing that one. I think that'll be a real fun tournament to end it on down there.
Yeah. Hey man, you look at you said something about Steve making a comment, so I know he's on here. So I hope he hears this. That's great. Man, you look at the lakes that we're on and the bodies of water, because you got the Susky. You look at the bodies of water we're on this year. I don't care what series you go to, kayak or boat or bank or whatever you want to look at. There ain't nobody got a list of lakes like what we got. No. Dude, we got some slam down water. I mean, it's unreal water we're fishing this year.
And the timing, I mean, granted, Possum Kingdom threw us a curveball with the weather and everything we had out there, but timing wise, just based off history, really great timing on these lakes. And I think, and rivers, I think Susky's going to be another one that's timed just right. Them fish eat like crazy up there in the summertime. I think we're going to have a good one up there as well.
Well, Murray threw us a curveball too.
I ain't seen nothing like a curveball. I need to learn how to hit freaking curveballs, I guess.
One of the riders from Bassmaster had called me and he said, okay, you're a local guy. I'm going to do an article. I'm going to quote you on some stuff. Tell me what's what. So I put, several different ways to fish Murray. And I said, but it's all going to depend on what we have the 2 weeks before and what happens there. If we have a warm February, man, this place is liable to be on fire and, have bed and fish already. But that's few and far between. I've seen it happen before. But we had bad weather and then had all that wind and 4-foot waves that's tearing up people's boats. And, so, that throws a curveball too. But Murray, February, March, that's a really good place to start. I mean, that's a great lake. I hate it because I never do that well on it, but it's still it's a nice body of water. Greenwood's the one I love in our state, and Greenwood's too small to do a tournament on.
That's what I was going to ask. I hadn't heard that one on any national list.
Yeah, well, you know where Buzzard's Roost is. Everybody talks about going to Buzzard's Roost at Murray. That is the dam of Greenwood.
I got you.
That's where everybody fishes the river. They'll put in Buzzard's Roost and do that. And when you put it at Buzzard's Roost, you're less than 300 yards from the bottom of Greenwood's dam.
I got you.
So, Greenwood is, it's starting to get a lot of spots in it too, but it's still got some really big largemouth in it. And we put our camper down there all summer. My boss lady's got a little campground down there, and we put our camper down there all summer. I hit Greenwood when I'm just goofing around, my favorite lake anyway. And it's just a little small, put 200 people on.
What do you said Steve-O's on, he's watching, obviously. What do you think about the growth of bass over these years? Obviously, you were with them right when they started the Kayak Series. You went up there and took that blue trophy in Wisconsin, but you've been with them every year, up there in the AOY points last year. What do you think of the growth and what they've done with this since Steve-O took over?
I was really getting, I'll do the history lesson for the ones that don't know that much about bass. Bassmasters announces they're going to do a tournament series for kayaks. I don't know if everybody got as excited as I did, but my daddy had been a Bassmaster member for years. I mean, he had the $1,000 reward bass stickers on every boat he's ever had, all that stuff. It's always been there. I growed up bass this, bass that, and that's like the coolest thing in the world. Okay, I'm going to get to fish Bassmasters out of a plastic boat. I know it won't be the same thing as, the big guys, but it's cool. We're getting to use the name, and it's going to be a cool thing. So we go to Logan Martin. We had good sign up for Logan Martin. It wasn't 200, but we had good sign up for Logan Martin. It rained 3 inches in one day. We all about drowned, but we still had a good time, and it was a start, and it kicked things off. Well, the rest of that season went good. The leadership wasn't there.
Yep.
John's a nice guy. I talked to him a lot on the side away from things. I don't know why he would talk to me and he didn't to others, but he would ask me things and talk to me about stuff. He's a cool guy, but he didn't have a clue about kayaks. And I think it was on y'all's show. He made a comment that kind of,
that we should stay 50 yards off the bank forever.
Those comments, it was not going to go anywhere. That pissed it almost pissed me off enough not to go to the next tournament I was going to go to. And I'm pretty hard to piss off usually. And I think y'all know from dealing with me before, I usually don't say something unless I know I'm right and got something to back it up. And usually if you hear me say something, I've usually got the proof or know what's what with it. I don't just run off at the mouth and do things. But I made a few comments about, this ain't going to live long if this is the way our leadership's going to do. And everybody there was a little word out there that Steve might get talked to about doing this. I think we all went to doing this and hoping for the best, because I like Steve. I've known him for a while through tournament series and seeing him here and there on stuff, and I just thought he'd be a cool guy to run it. When he was helping with it a little bit when we first got things going, him and Dwayne, it was cool to have him there, and then he stepped away from it. And when they announced he was coming back, it was like a sigh of relief, or he was coming back, to take over it, a sigh of relief. And I don't think you've seen anything go backwards since. It's been numbers gain, numbers gain, numbers gain. I'll say with the elite kayak series right now.
Oh, for sure.
If you look at the numbers, hands down.
And it's been crazy. Last year was kind of a building year, but this season you really saw the results of that decision.
And that's nothing against Hobie, because AJ runs a really clean show and he puts a lot of hard work into that show.
Yep.
And I didn't fish a lot of Hobies because my knees kill me. I've got a pedal kayak out there in the shop that has not even had the paperwork taken off of it. I sold the one I was using. I got that one. I've had it for a year. It's been sitting out there propped up against the wall in the shop, and the paperwork's still taped to it. So I'm done with pedaling. I can't do it. If everybody said we're going back grassroots, we're going to pedal and paddle. Well, I had my shoulder rebuilt, but I don't want to get out there and tear it up again, paddling and pedaling. I'm on my knees doing floors and this, that, and the other all the time. I don't need to be pedaling on weekends when my knees already tore up. So if you're not going to let me run a motor, I'm probably not going to see you. So I think that's been a part of the change in that series. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like it's forcing the hand that you're going to have to go motors. You're going to keep the numbers.
I think the numbers is another part of why the motors is almost necessary now. Like you need to be able to get out away from, it can't just be 50 people fishing a small area around the ramp. I think the motors is a big part, where you're able to get out there and separate each other and run multiple patterns. You don't have to really ramp hop as much with the motors because you can fish a whole lot more water. Yeah.
Well, back in my attack days when I was with Wildy, I was on Kentucky Lake. I put 9 miles one day paddling an attack. That's the most I ever done. But I'm 4 to 4.5 miles away from the ramp when you get thinking about it before I turned and come back. That's a pretty good paddle, especially for a lake you don't know. But I used to do that, and some people do that and can do it, but the bulk of us can't and won't. So
it ain't that I can't. I don't want to at all.
Yeah.
If I have to paddle, I'm mad.
Yeah, I work my butt off and I make good money. I don't mind spending it on fishing stuff. A motor is something I need. Matter of fact, when this paycheck gets here, I might be buying the newer Torquedas that come out. So I got a spare because mine's already out of warranty. I've had to have Jeff Little do some work on it twice out of the shop in Columbia where they work on it most of the time. So, mine's getting a lot of wear and tear. So it's time for a new one. So that might be where part of that money goes.
Well, Barry, man, great event. I thought you were going to pull off the comeback. I saw you leading the event early as I was, tucking my tail and running back to Arkansas. I was still following the leaderboard. Saw you leading it early. Thought you were going to hang in there, but, man, well done. Well done.
Thank you. I tried my best. I give it everything I had. I never did look to see if I had the biggest limit yesterday. I know it was for a while, but, I put everything I had into yesterday and done what I could. And then my fish dried up for a while. And then I was catching 17, a 16, a 15. They were like 30 minutes apart, but they were still fish coming through. So I just kept hoping for that big 22, 23 to come in there, and it didn't happen. But I gave it everything I could do, and I stayed where I knew I had fish. And
hey, you got your blue trophy. You punched your ticket to the championship. That ain't a bad weekend of fishing.
no, I don't have to worry about being top 50 this year. So I think that's why Steve-O asked me, he said, you coming to Susky? And I looked at him, I said, Susky's magic, dude. I mean, I can't miss the Susky. It'd have to, if I'm not at Susky, you know, something bad happened. Something went sour and I didn't get to show it. So, and my wife's in the other room hollering, please don't say that, because I missed the hash chain because of her shattering her arm. So we don't need her doing anything else.
Yeah,
So.
tell her to be safe for the next few
yeah.
months.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been a good year already. So, you know, we got all that taken care of. Now I can cruise along. I'm going Saturday to Santee to fish the South Carolina Bass Nation. I finished second in the one that I've done already. They take the top 3. So I'm going to try to see what I can do for Angler of the Year with that, but I don't have to worry about scoring high enough to go through them either. So that's always a backup plan too, in case you don't make that top 50. So,
yep.
But Santee's
good job, man. Congratulations. It was fun to watch.
It was fun to be there.
Yeah, man. And I'm glad. I know you were coaching baseball.
Them days come few and far between. It was fun to be there.
Yeah, man. I know you were trying to coach baseball and make it on here, so I appreciate you squeezing us in and making time to do this. It was a fun interview.
Yeah, I canceled out on my baseball game. My grandyoung is probably going to be mad at me.
Well, the nation, the people appreciate it, man.
Thank you. Good, great
fun,
interview.
guys.
Great interview. Thank you.
All right, man.
See y'all later.
All right.
I texted Siddiqi twice. He was going to buy a truck or something.
He is in the lobby right this second.
Shut up.
But it is 8:30. So what I say is we make a decision to we have an open spot next week. Why don't we bring him back and have a full episode with him next week?
I would rather do a full episode because I think we're going to have a lot of entertainment to talk
Eric,
about.
is that cool with you, Eric? Can you give us a thumbs up in the lobby?
You can pop him in here. Pop him in here real quick.
All right. We'll get him in here real quick.
What's
Eric,
going on?
what's up, man?
Did you get your new
good
truck?
with
In the
us?
new truck. Yep.
Okay.
I've been moving everything over for the last 2 hours, 3 hours. I don't know. It's how my truck looks. It's not easy.
All right.
We will we'll bring you back on next Monday because I want to go through, like, obviously the whole week was pretty wild.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure we got plenty of time to talk about the crazy ways you were catching these fish.
All right. Yeah. Sounds good.
Man.
All right.
We'll see you next Monday.
We'll talk to you next Monday.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. See you, man.
Cashing checks and getting new trucks. Look at him.
Well, he was planning this beforehand, but he's like, man, I really need to win this tournament so I can go get this new truck. And then we're sitting there, like, I saw what he caught, obviously, and he's like, yeah, I think I got the new truck out of it.
That's crazy, man.
Yep.
Well, we're gonna do this Revo giveaway and then get y'all out of here for the night. That was fun, man. We appreciate Barry sliding in here. He gave us plenty of juice to run the whole show.
I was gonna say he put the juice all the way out there.
Yeah, man. How funny is it that both of us fished around the top 2 guys and
I'll tell you my logic, and we'll talk about this more next week, but those fish spawned like a month and a half ago. So I generally after they spawn, those fish, most of them start moving back out to the ledges. And I think, that's probably why Barry's stretch of channel was so good coming out toward the deeper water. But there was a lot of fish out deep, on shell beds, points, grass lines. I thought that's what it would take to win it. I didn't think I would sit there next to the winner.
Yeah.
But I mean, and Siddiqi will tell you next week, the way he caught these fish was crazy. Like it's definitely going to be one of those head scratchers. All
right. Well, that'll be a fun one, man. Can't wait to talk to him about that. I like the Barry. Pretty simple, man. Jig and a buzz bait. Love that.
Yep, still works.
Like I said, I threw the buzz bait for about 5 minutes and said, nope, it's toad time. I'm not dealing with this salad out here.
I sat out there, man, on day 2, and I couldn't get bit. Siddiqi's getting bit, but he only had 4 fish, and it was like 2 hours left in the day. And I'm like, man, I ain't gonna sit out here and risk potentially catching a fish that would win the tournament for him. So I just went shallow, but I didn't take my frog rod because I didn't want to trick myself into chasing around frogfish. all I had braid on was my spinning rod. So I put a fluke on there and went back in the grass and lost 3 fish in the grass. And I was like, man, I'm done. I'm loading up and going to the house. I can't. I mentally cannot handle this anymore.
Oh man, fun to see the folks over there. I was only there. I got there Friday. Got to go to dinner Friday night, see a few folks. Went to the fellowship on Friday night, so that part was fun. The fishing didn't go like I wanted it to, but it was still a fun weekend for me, man.
The good news is we have this podcast to host every Monday, so
that's right. That's right. We can at least hear how other people catch them, no matter what happens.
Yep.
But yeah, let's do this Revo giveaway. Sunglasses night. It's getting hot. It's Memorial Day weekend coming up. Everybody needs some new shades. Who's getting slow rolled tonight, man?
Dun dun dun.
And hey, Big Bass 250 this fall.
Yep. Put it on your calendar. We're gonna have fun at that one.
No way.
Chris, man. Chris is a repeat offender here as well.
Yeah.
On those prize packs. So Chris, you'll get a Revo code. Hit up the KBN DMs or Jeff directly. He'll send you the code and we'll get you some Revos out there to Cali.
There you go, man. Good show, buddy. Sorry for your technical difficulties.
Dude, I don't know what happened. That mic wouldn't connect for anything. I'm going to throw it in the garbage and get another one, I guess.
All right, man. Great show. See y'all next Monday.
All right, later.